Right, this morning we're having a bit of a fizzy, funny, funky-brained morning, and I don't mean that in a good way. I decided it probably wasn't the best idea to stay in the house and rat. So, in spite of all my misgivings about having to leave the house, I left the house. It's a really nice sunny day. I came to a place called Kells in County Kilkenny, and there's a nice priory here, and apparently there's a nice walk. So, gonna go for a silly little mental health walk and see how we get on. Turns out it's actually really quite nice here. Getting a bit of vitamin D if nothing else. It's funny, I just feel like I want to go home even though it's so nice. So that's probably quite a good indication of where my brain is at. I suppose I'm glad I came out, but I feel like when I get home I'll be like, I'm glad I did that, as if it was a tick the box exercise. But it's been nice. I'm probably about halfway around. I feel like I'm about to turn back now towards the car. It's quite a short walk, but it's quite lovely if you're nearby and if you have a car to get here, because I can't imagine public transport is the best around here. It's a very, very small village. So yeah, that's me. Back to the car. So we are home. I had a little bit of a leftover curry for lunch. I want to start cooking a bit more again because I've gotten essentially so bad at it and have been eating bread and cereal and potato waffles and just processed food, I guess. And I'm sure it's not doing me the best. I just want to shake myself up a bit. I just can't get myself in gear this year. I just constantly feel worn out, burnt out, demotivated, tired, not bothered, couldn't be arsed. Going through the motions very much. I suppose it's better to get up and to put on a face rather than just kind of staying in bed all day. I uploaded the footage from this morning onto my laptop and I was watching it, and to be completely honest, lately I've been dealing with some body issues again, and I don't want to harp on about this because it's such a boring thing, isn't it? Like, oh, I'm a woman and I hate my body. I feel like with changes in my medication and with my illness making it difficult to exercise and to be motivated and to cook properly and to do things that I need to do, I've been gaining weight and I can definitely see it. And isn't that so boring to talk about weight gain? I hate it. It is what it is, and I'm not going to stress over it because I have gone through periods of my life where I haven't eaten and it's just been horrendous, and now I just think it's such a stupid thing to think about, to worry about, to care about. Look at all the cool things my body has done and all the cool things my body can do. Even though I'm living in a disabled body, my body very much still has value and merit. I have definitely noticed within myself, I used to dress a lot better and I used to look after my appearance a lot better. And in saying that, I probably had a more active social life too, but I feel like at this stage most of the clothes that I have I actually don't wear. I don't like them. I don't want to wear them. They're too small for me. They're not the kind of clothes I want to wear anymore. So I just think that it's probably time for me to buy some new clothes. It's not something that I do very often because I don't have a lot of money. I definitely don't have like discretionary income. I'm living very much in a state of my bank balance is €2.30 at the end of a week. And the only reason I haven't spent that is because it's too small to spend. I also am very conscious of our ecosystem and our climate and our world. And I don't want to just be buying things just because I want to. But I feel like it's time. So I want to go measure like my hips, my waist and all that. And I'll go and buy some clothes off of the Lucy and Yak website. I really like them. They have this really great like sustainability ethos. They really look after their staff. Their clothes fit me well. I have a really big belly and hips compared to like my waist, which is fine, but sometimes clothes just don't fit me the best. And I feel like Lucy and Yak clothes historically have, particularly their trousers. Maybe that might give me a little bit of a lift as well. That is the first and last time I'm going to talk about body image on this channel. I did the thing. I bought some trousers, 3 pairs of trousers and a lovely sort of loose jumpsuit. My cat is bawling. I promise she's okay. And it also occurred to me that I run a booktube channel and I haven't spoken all day about books at all. That is because I normally read in the evening, sometimes during the day, but life happens, pals. You know how it is. Hobbies get pushed aside. I finished a book by Karen Slaughter. It was my first ever Karen Slaughter book and I read it because I heard it was very twisty turny and that it was kind of bleak and kind of dark, and it was called Pretty Girls, and it has everything under the sun that could be considered a trigger warning. And yes, it was very twisty turny, and yes, I read over 500 pages of it really quickly, but I wouldn't say that I loved it. But it was very compulsive reading and it was also very gruesome. Following on from that then, I actually wanted to kind of scrub my brain clean. So I picked up The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill, and this is a middle grade. I am 82 pages in. I'm actually further in than I thought. And this book is set in this sort of magical, fantastical world. And so we start off in this town and they are under sort of the control of the Protectorate. They believe that the Protectorate are looking out for them, and the members of the Protectorate are like super rich and living these lavish lives, and then the people in the town aren't doing all that well because they're paying all these taxes and whatever, but it's kind of working. Once a year the Protectorate tells the people of the town that they need to take a child from the town to give to the witch to satisfy the witch so the witch doesn't come and whatever it is they think the witch is going to do to them. And it's basically a means of control. The Protectorate take this baby every year, and this particular year they take a baby and they bring her to the forest and they leave her there for the witch. And then we find out that this witch is actually lovely. Her name is Zan, and she takes these children and she brings them on a journey. She believes that these mothers are abandoning their babies, and she brings them to these little towns where people really want to have children, and she gives the children to these families, and it's all really lovely. And normally it's a very long journey, and Zan feeds the baby Starlight to keep them full and healthy and happy, and this time around she accidentally feeds the child Moonlight and the child becomes enmagicked. So what does Zan do except take the child as her own and bring her back to her swamp where she lives with her swamp monster Glurk and her little tiny dragon Firian, I think his name is. And it is about as sweet and as wholesome as it sounds. To be honest with you, I didn't know if I was necessarily in the mood for this, but so far so good. And what's really lovely about it is it reads very sweet and very wholesome, but then there are sentences in this that are a bit like, someone just punched me in the gut. It's written really lovely, and I feel like I'm only really getting started. The whole book is devoid of page numbers apparently. The whole book is about 390 pages, so it's not very long. I feel like if I give myself the time, I'll easily fly through it very quickly. I have heard a lot of really good things about this book, and when I looked up the Goodreads reviews, they're also really good, and a lot of people are saying that they really enjoyed it a lot more than they thought that they would, and I feel like that's what's happening with me so far. It's 6:20 and I am ready for bed. Not quite literally just yet. I want to get a shower and all that stuff. God, lads, the actual effort of being alive, just keeping ourselves on a certain status quo. I just find this idea of going above and beyond completely beyond me. Imagine being a glamorous woman.
I struggle to shower myself, and I'm not, that's not a joke. Like the actual effort of it sometimes, just to wash yourself and to dry your hair. And I like the idea of doing like all this great skincare. Sometimes I do, and other times I'm like, look, I'm gonna get old anyway, and as long as I'm wearing a little bit of SPF and a bit of a moisturizer, then I'm not doing too bad. The funny thing about that is sometimes, like if I'm going to a wedding or some kind of event, I will go have my makeup done by a beautician, and the past few times I've gone, the different beauticians have been like, oh, your skin is really nice, like what products do you use? And I'm like, moisturizer when I think of it, probably a lot of sweat. That's quite literally it. Now, in saying that, I'm not boasting about having nice skin. I really did not have nice skin up into my mid-late 20s, so we're making up for it now. The spots are being replaced by wrinkles. I digress. Off to get a shower, dry myself, dry my hair, get all clean and lovely so I can get into bed feeling all fresh and read my book for the evening. So
guess who did her skincare? I know, nobody's more surprised than me. I think because I mentioned it, I probably kind of guilted myself into it, but yeah. Anyway, I'm back because I also never mentioned the audiobook that I'm listening to, which is a book that has been on my shelf for quite some time, basically since it's been published, and I don't know why I've been putting it off, because now that I'm listening to it, I'm like, this is great, and it's like the perfect level of whimsy and sarcasm for me, because I don't do well with like whimsical, sarcastic books very often. And what am I even talking about? Sorry lads, I'm talking about Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. It's a bit of a chunk, so I think that's probably why I was putting it off for so long. But Nicola Coughlan is narrating it, and she's brilliant. She's very good as an audiobook narrator. Who's surprised, because she's good at everything. But this book basically follows a group of friends, or girls that were friends when they were younger anyway, and they're all witches and they're living in modern day UK. They're all having to hide the fact that they are witches, and there are quite a few different perspectives in here, and I'm not very far in. To be honest with you, I don't know how far I am into it because my audiobook app from the library kind of died and I had to re-download it and it lost my place. Helpful. Yeah, I'm not that far into it, but so far I'm really enjoying it. We're kind of getting a feel for all of the characters so far, and they're all very distinct, which is nice. And I feel like there's going to be plenty in this book that I'm really going to enjoy. And I know that there is a sequel. I'm going to find my place in that again tomorrow and continue with it, because I also have Uprooted by Naomi Novik ready to go in my library audiobook app, and I don't want to lose it and then not be able to listen to it in spooky season. My body really said, let's wake up at just after 4 a.m. for no reason. So I'm a little tired. And this morning I am off to get a couple of vaccines because I don't want the flu. I don't want to get sick. And I get them every year. I'm supposed to be going to the cinema this evening with Sean to see The Substance, which I'm hearing pretty grotesque things about, but I hear it's very good. So I look forward to that if I manage to stay awake that long. And the middle of the day, my little old niece and nephew are going to be down for a while. So that's me. I don't expect too many reading updates today. I did read a little bit more of The Girl Who Drank the Moon last night, and it's very nice. They're kind of skipping time a little bit now. There's some really kind of cool magical things going on. Like there was a scene with like paper birds, like hundreds if not thousands of paper birds coming to life, and I won't tell you what happens, but that was really good. And we have our child Luna, who has been moon blessed and is full of moon magic, and she's getting older and she doesn't know how to control her magic, and the witch Zan is really like not able to control her, and it's a big problem. And then we have Antane, who is in the beginning training to become like an elder for the protectorate, but he witnesses this whole baby being left in the forest thing. It just really doesn't sit well with him, and we're following him as he gets older as well. I'm very curious to see where this book goes, because it's a middle grade. I do expect it to finish up quite nicely, but at the same time, this book is written in a way that's a little bit kind of melancholy, so I'm curious to see if Kelly Barronhill does something with that. feel about as good as I look. I feel quite tired. I have not slept well the past couple of nights. But anyway, we got up this morning and I went for a nice walk in the rain. Actually, one of my favourite things to do. So we did go to see The Substance last night, and that's a film. I'm obviously not going to give anything away, but it is a horror film and it's about a woman who turns 50 and she's been quite the celebrity and her body has been celebrated and her beauty, and once she turns 50 she realises that nobody really wants her anymore, and so she comes across this company who offer this substance and they offer basically youth and beauty, but obviously it comes with some terms and conditions. It is a horror film, but it's not like a jump scare horror. It is very much a body horror. And let me tell you, the body horror is strong in this one. So if you're in any way squeamish, don't watch it. Personally, really enjoyed it. Just loved how over the top it was. I thought Demi Moore was such a good sport throughout the whole thing. I thought it was really good. And my initial thought, like when the film finished, was that it was so nice because it's been so long since I saw something in the cinema that was just felt entirely original. It's not a new favourite. I found it to be too long and the ending was definitely a choice, but overall I personally really enjoyed it. It's rough going, so be picky and be choosy about that. Today I have my little cousin for the afternoon. So we'll probably just stay in and just have a chill day because it is raining, and also it's the first day of the Christmas crochet along with Surder, so I am crocheting a blanket at the moment, but we're putting that on hiatus to see if I can crochet a Christmas blanket before Christmas. I'll pop a little photo of it up here. Isn't it adorable? That's what we're aspiring towards. Don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to go print off the pattern now, and there is also an accompanying YouTube video for the first week, so hopefully I can keep up, and if not, sure, no pressure. Also, I listened to some more of Her Majesty's Royal Coven this morning, and I have to say Nicola Coughlan is a great audiobook narrator. She's so good at accents and weaves in and out of the different perspectives very well. It makes it a really great choice for an audiobook, I think. So we have all these witches and I'm still kind of figuring out who's who, and some perspectives I like a lot more than others. There's been some really great commentary on race in the little bit that I listened to on my walk this morning, and as things stand, we kind of have this boy and he is very powerful but has never been trained, seems to have quite a lot of trauma from his younger years, is essentially a little bit dangerous. So they're trying to train him and trying to train some other little witches as well. So it's set in like contemporary day in the UK and feels very modern. It does have a little bit of a cozy feeling about it, but I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a cozy fantasy. It feels very contemporary, and so far I'm really enjoying it. This winter sun is doing me dirty, but we're just gonna ignore that. Last night I ploughed through about 200 pages of The Girl Who Drank the Moon. I literally just forgot the name of the book. Then this morning I woke up about 6 and just finished off the last 50 pages or so. And this book was nice. It was cute. There was found family. It's a middle grade, so everything ties up neatly. This book has been sitting on my shelves for about 2 years, I think, and I keep saying I'm going to read that book, but something inside of me was like, I don't really feel like it.
And I kind of forced myself to read it this time, thinking I'd just get into it. And I didn't really get into it. And I feel like I probably should have trusted my intuition there. Didn't love it. I gave it 3 stars. It was not a bad book by any means. And I know a lot of people that I follow or I'm friends with on Goodreads gave it really good reviews. But for me, I found it a little bit like slow. It felt like the plot was kind of just pottering along. I wasn't super into the characters. I didn't feel these massively high stakes. And I thought it was too long. It was like over 380 pages long. And for me, I just thought a lot of it was potentially filler. Don't get me wrong, it was cute, it was nice, I'm being blinded by the sun, but it probably just wasn't for me. So I'm going back to the drawing board now and I'm picking up a super chunk of a book. Where is she? She's here. And that is Our Share of Night by Mariana Esquives. So this is like a multi-generational story. It's like a literary horror, I believe. And I don't know a whole lot more about it than that. I've read about 11 pages and already I'm quite intrigued. We're set in 1981, I think, in Buenos Aires, and there is a father and a son, and the father wakes the son up and says, come on, we have to go, the bags are packed, they're leaving. We don't know if they're running from something, if they're running to something, if they're just going on a trip, but it feels like they've left with quite a bit of haste. There's definitely going to be some sort of magically realism horror going on here, because there's a point where the father grabs the wrist of a waitress and thinks, oh, maybe I'll mark her with some kind of mark, or, you know, curse her in some way. It felt like he didn't actually say curse, but it was something along those lines. And I am very intrigued, I have to say. I have many pages to go. This is a massive book. What are we talking? Over 700 pages. I'm looking forward to it. It's a while since I've read a really long book. Myself and my ma are going to a little crafty workshop this morning. We're going to make driftwood houses apparently. So I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see. And then later on, going for a bit of a late lunch with Sean. So that should be nice. I have just had like the nicest day. It has been spilling rain outside all day. I love the rain. I love when I'm at home and it's raining. I love being out and about when it's raining, and I understand that like rain isn't ideal when you want to go for a picnic or you want to do outdoor activities. I get that, but generally, I just really love the rain. I just feel so cozy. I feel so much more relaxed. I feel like there's not going to be people outside making noise, and it's just like so dark and so nice inside. Definitely a serious introvert in me. Basically today I just sat down and edited this vlog. Like, I haven't done anything of major consequence, bar maybe I went to a Pilates class this morning, so that was my daily dose of social interaction. And this evening, I'm just going to lie down and I'm going to read my book, because I actually haven't read anymore. Like last time I checked in, I had read 11 pages of this book. And funnily enough, I've literally read 11 pages and I've been thinking about it. I'm like, oh girl, I'm coming for you. I'm coming back for you. Tomorrow, I'm driving an hour and a half to meet my friends at a pumpkin patch, and I'm very excited for it.
Alright pals, I'm just checking in before I check out. I ended up reading about 90 pages last night of Our Share of Night, and I have a feeling that literary horror is something that I should be keeping an eye on, because historically I have quite enjoyed it and I'm really enjoying this one as well. So we're following this father Juan and his son Gasper after Juan's wife and Gasper's mother has passed away, and as I've mentioned, they just kind of left somewhere in a hurry. I didn't really know what was going on, and I've read a bit more now, and there's certainly quite a bit of occult organisation that's kind of trying to find this father and son pair, and it's all very sinister. There are some really great relationships in this, but obviously so far the focus has been on the father and son, and it's definitely not just a straightforward relationship, because obviously the father loves his son, but he also has these really horrifically violent thoughts or tendencies, and I'm getting little snapshots of that. And it's like the father is trying to protect the son in a bizarre way, but then in other ways it's like he just wants rid of him, and I don't really know what's going on, but I know they're making their way somewhere for a particular reason. And I'm getting little tidbits of information, but nothing is really making sense so far. Not that it's confusing, but just that the story is taking its time to unfold, which is fair enough because this book is well over 700 pages. But I will say so far I'm really enjoying it, and I really hope that it continues in the same sort of vein, that the pacing continues in the same way that it has, that I am only fed little bits of information as we go, and I have a feeling that this book is potentially in the running to be one of my favourite reads of this year, so watch this space. Other than that pals, I'm going to call it here because I want to finish editing up this vlog so that I can have it up for Sunday. So today is the 19th of October and I want to have this video up on the 20th. So I gotta get cracking. As ever, thanks so much for watching. In case you're curious, I'm feeling a bit better than I was on Monday, so that's good. If you want to leave me a comment but don't know what to leave me a little pumpkin emoji, just as a nod toward my foray into the pumpkin patch. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more from me. I'll see y'all next week for another video. Take care. Bye bye.